telling the team to have some emotions. At least someone cared yesterday. Watch this footage. Look at her, bro. Look at her. Everybody had looked down. Everybody look all out of sync. And I'm here to tell you, this is not what you want to see in a tough situation they was dealt with yesterday, bro. We know the Valkyries came out and put BTA all over them, bro. But at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark is trying.
A viral video has surfaced depicting Caitlin Clark expressing clear dissatisfaction with her Indiana Fever colleagues, demanding greater enthusiasm following their recent loss to the Las Vegas Aces. The recording has spread rapidly through various social networks, especially Twitter, where viewers have been scrutinizing the squad's chemistry and overall display. The recording shows Clark directly confronting her fellow players, stressing the necessity for heightened energy and emotional commitment during competition. Throughout the exchange, multiple teammates seemed withdrawn, displaying downcast postures and physical indicators of detachment from the situation. This confrontation took place after Indiana's crushing defeat to Las Vegas, during which the squad failed to remain competitive for the entire match. The defeat has sparked inquiries regarding head coach Stephanie White's strategic choices and general team oversight.
PA all over him, bro. But at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark is trying to do everything in her power to make sure this team stay locked in all four quarters. This is clear as day, another example of that. I feel like they lost the game yesterday because of Stephanie White and her coaching and her different schemes, preferably her offensive scheme. They cannot get in a rhythm. They cannot figure out a way to put the ball in a bucket. But I said this yesterday, bro, and I'm saying it again. Them starting Ari McDonald was one of the biggest factors.
Detractors have identified the attacking framework as a major issue, observing that the squad seems incapable of creating any steady offensive flow. The absence of smooth ball distribution and effective shot opportunities has emerged as a consistent problem in their latest outings. A particularly debated coaching choice that attracted special attention was the decision to begin Ariel McDonald instead of Lexi Hall. Although McDonald added 7 points to the team's effort, numerous spectators believe this lineup modification disrupted the squad's established harmony and substitution sequences. Hall had previously shown her ability as a starter, making the choice to bench her appear doubtful considering the team's requirement for consistency.
Starting Ari McDonald was one of the biggest factors that contributed to the loss yesterday. I love Ari McDonald. I feel like she's a hell of a basketball player, but no one said she was a starter, especially me. They should not have took Lexi Hall out. That itself messed up the chemistry as well with that. It looked like they didn't even practice with Ari being a starter, bro. That's how bad it looked yesterday, dog. Looked like they didn't know what the hell to do when Ari was out there. Granted, she picked up some buckets, very slim. I think she had like 7 points, but
the coaching team's choice becomes more confusing when acknowledging they had dismissed Damiris Dantas, a two-time WNBA champion, earlier during the campaign. This action created questions about the organization's roster development and whether they were making appropriate personnel decisions for their title ambitions. Online responses to the recording have been varied, with supporters and commentators providing different viewpoints on the circumstances. Some fans applauded Clark's leadership attributes and her readiness to challenge teammates during challenging situations. Others wondered whether the squad was experiencing internal conflict or simply battling confidence problems.
But at the end of the day, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this was a not broke situation because Lexi Hall proved that she could be a starter. Ain't that why you bitch DeWanna Bonner, two-time WNBA champion? So you mean to tell me that Ari McDonald's better than Lexi Hall and she was better than DeWanna Bonner, bro? Because we know DeWanna Bonner ain't all that, but come on, dog. I just got to keep it real, man. I like I like Ari McDonald. I truly do, but I just don't think she's a starter. Now,
multiple comments concentrated on the timing of Clark's involvement, with watchers noting it happened during the third period when the team faced increasing pressure. The discussion exposed worries about the group's fighting spirit and whether they had the mental strength required for playoff competition. Some supporters theorized that certain players might have been trying to demonstrate they could succeed without Clark's input, following previous criticism that the team relied too heavily on their star athlete. However, this explanation seems seemed improbable given the potential harm to their playoff standing and season objectives. The discussion also addressed former players who had been dismissed or exchanged from the franchise.
McDonald, I truly do, but I just don't think she's a starter. Now let's check out some of these comments up under this post. I know people was going in, man. People definitely went in, dog. This one right here says, was this in the third quarter? Somebody said, yes. How did you know, dog? How did you know? Somebody said, yeah, but their fire is done. That's with Sophie Cunningham. So I just did a video right before this one kind of dissecting what Sophie Cunningham said. Because Sophie Cunningham let it be known. The offense,
Tiffany Mitchell's exit was especially questioned, as she had been performing effectively with her new squad, posting decent statistics and contributing significantly to their achievement. Mitchell's numbers from the recent game displayed 7 points in 19 minutes plus 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Meanwhile, opposing athletes like Kayla Thornton and Veronica Burton delivered outstanding performances against Indiana, emphasizing the skill difference that appeared during critical moments. These individual matchups often decide game results, and Indiana seemed to struggle matching their opponent's intensity. The wider worry extends past individual game displays to systematic problems within the franchise.
The offense you're running is not the right offense that need to be ran when Caitlin Clark is out there. They need to run a totally different offense when Caitlin Clark is back. And I have to agree. I think everybody else agreed. And as of right now, it is not looking good for the Indiana Fever basketball team, dog. Somebody said, y'all can hate Steph, but she was not lying or making an excuse when she said there was no competitive fire or energy. I don't know.
Watchers have identified a trend of careless play and inadequate urgency that has troubled the team during the season. This mental attitude becomes especially troublesome during important situations where championship-level teams usually improve their performance. Some experts recommended that Clark should take on greater leadership duties, possibly accepting a player-coach position to help direct the team's path. Her basketball knowledge and competitive spirit make her a logical choice for increased influence.
What was going on with them, but I have an off shooting night or just being outplayed. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Somebody said the entire team were trying to prove a 1 point to the fan base that's telling them after they lost to the Sparks that they need CC to win. They were like, really now we need CC for us to win? Huh? Let's see about that. So basically, you're saying that the
players find it difficult to build consistency and rhythm when their positions and duties change frequently. This uncertainty can create confusion during games and stop the team from implementing their game plan successfully. Despite various criticisms and worries, Clark's willingness to confront these problems directly shows her dedication to team achievement. Her vocal leadership represents an effort to ignite the competitive spirit that championship teams need during difficult times. The situation has generated wider conversations about team chemistry, leadership patterns, and the pressure confronting young athletes in professional basketball.
See about that. So basically, you're saying that the team tanked in order to prove that they needed Caitlin, they didn't need Caitlin Clark to win. That sounds stupid. Why would you mess up your record for that? Somebody said we should have kept Wheeler. I don't know if we should have kept Erica Wheeler, but we definitely should have kept Timmy. We should have kept Timmy. Somebody said Timmy, but I think Timpson will be good when she gains a little confidence. Y'all remember CC did to New York on the ball. Doesn't take the rock.
While some consider Clark's method as necessary responsibility, others are concerned about the lasting impacts of public confrontations on team spirit and unity. The matter surrounding Caitlin Clark's future with the Indiana Fever has grown increasingly complicated. While trading their star athlete might appear financially unwise given the income she creates, the situation presents deeper basketball issues that deserve consideration. The financial advantages Clark provides might be short-lived regardless. Supporters attend games mainly because of her basketball skills, not celebrity standing alone.
Play basketball. They're not. They're good. They're both good players. Angel's killing it. And both Angel Reese, all three of Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and Paige Beckers have similarly large social media followings. They all have really large social media followings. So do they think that because Caitlin Clark is a celebrity that people are going to come and watch? It's not going to happen. People watch Caitlin Clark for the basketball. There's a reason why. There's a reason why post-Olympics, Caitlin Clark.
Unlike other notable players such as Paige Bueckers or Angel Reese, Clark's attraction comes from her exciting style of play rather than social media influence. Despite comparable follower numbers across these athletes, Clark's court performance drives actual attendance. The post-Olympic time showed this clearly when Clark and the Fever became sports entertainment's top attraction. This achievement was purely basketball-based, not founded on star power or marketing appeal. The franchise seems to misunderstand this basic difference, potentially causing poor decision-making about their playing approach and roster building.
Olympics, Caitlin Clark and the Fever became the best show in sports. There's a reason why. And it's because of it's because of 100% basketball. And I think that they're very much mistaken in the fact that they think that everything's going to be okay if the basketball turns to shit. And long term for the Fever, it won't. Like the Fever, obviously, we know the Fever need to make a choice. And I think the Fever are going.
The Fever confronts a crucial decision moment regarding their coaching circumstances. Management appears likely to keep Stephanie White, which could lead to converting Clark into a reduced version of other players who don't fit her natural playing approach. This coaching philosophy conflicts with maximizing Clark's special talents and capabilities. A theoretical trade situation involving Dallas offers interesting options. The Wings could propose Paige Bueckers plus a first-round pick for Clark, though Dallas would probably reject such an offer.
See, we know the Fever need to make a choice, and I think the Fever are going to make the choice. This is the choice I think the Fever are going to make, by the way. I think they're going to choose to keep Stephanie White and live and try to turn Caitlin Clark into a worse version of Paige Bueckers. I think that's the goal. And I mean this, if you plan on keeping Stephanie White past this year, and let's be real, Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox probably do.
Counter proposals might include extra players like Maddie Siegrist or Tierra McCowan alongside Bueckers, creating roster difficulties for both franchises. Clark's involvement with players like Arik Ogunbowale could improve Dallas considerably. Her capacity to play without the ball with dynamic guards like Ogunbowale, combined with forwards such as Satu Sabally and Natasha Howard, offers attractive lineup options. Such arrangements could benefit both organizations while keeping fan interest. However, the current coaching approach presents basic incompatibilities.
What you need to do is call up Curt Miller and go, yo, we will give you Caitlin Clark. We will give you Caitlin Clark. And you give us Paige Bueckers and your first round pick. And then Dallas say no. And Dallas come back with, you want.
No realistic situation exists where Clark and White produce either competitive success or engaging basketball. Their pairing guarantees average results in both areas. Weak performance combined with dull gameplay that reduces Clark's influence. Eliminating White from the situation would at least restore entertainment worth, as coaching enhancement seems certain given the current foundation. The franchise cannot realistically perform worse with different leadership. Trading Clark for a player better matched to White's approach could actually enhance the Fever's overall performance.
And you want a player to play your style? You want a player to play your style of play? We'll give you Paige Bueckers, but you are taking, what's her name? You're taking Myisha Hines-Allen. Or you're taking Tierra McCowan. You're getting Paige and one of those two, and you can get Caitlin, and we can take Caitlin Clark. Because let's be real. A Caitlin sprinting up with a Rike by her side.
While they wouldn't be stronger without Clark, obtaining someone like Bueckers might create better team chemistry under White's equal offensive method. Dallas, alternatively, might reach playoff status with Clark replacing Bueckers in their approach. This choice becomes especially significant for the sport's overall welfare. The decision between Clark and White represents a basic crossroads, with management likely to keep White based on existing relationships and loyalties within the franchise. Ownership patterns complicate situations further.
Sprinting up with a Rike by her side makes the Wings better. It makes both teams better. Caitlin beside JJ Quinterly with JJ Quinterly as a dog. Because even with Caitlin Clark playing off the ball with Quinterly just sprints. If Caitlin runs with Quinterly, and Quinterly's going to be on their wing, one, Isaiah James another wing, Louisa Geisel-Soder there with her, like, they can figure something out. They could figure something out for the Fever why their fans will still keep showing up, and they could get off.
Kelly Krauskopf's loyalty to White and veterans like Natasha Howard may affect decision-making beyond pure basketball factors. The Dana Evans situation likely created extra friction, though perhaps not in anticipated ways. Rather than criticizing coaching choices, management might view Clark's playing approach as incompatible with their preferred roster building. When Clark's involvement made it hard to use Evans effectively, leading to her exit, the front office may have determined that accommodating Clark creates more difficulties than solutions. The social media criticism surrounding player choices, combined with White's historical coaching achievements, creates extra pressure.
Will still keep showing up, and they could get off Caitlin Clark and get better as a team with Stephanie White as a coach. Because right now, there's no scenario where Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White are either of these things, by the way. Either of these things. A good basketball team or a fun basketball team. Neither. There is no scenario that Caitlin with Stephanie White are either a good team or a fun team. They are guaranteed to be neither of them. They're going to be bad and boring with her. And it's going to take away from Caitlin Clark. If you get
White's previous accomplishments, including finals appearances and semifinal runs, contrast sharply with this season's difficulties. Her least successful WNBA campaign, ownership interference stops any actual trade situations, regardless of basketball logic. Clark's commercial worth ensures she stays with the franchise, potentially reducing her position to that of a marketing tool rather than a basketball focus. Recent games demonstrate this worrying trend. Clark spent considerable time setting picks while lesser players like Ari McDonald receive substantial playing time.
And it's going to take away from Caitlin Clark. If you get rid of Stephanie White, you're going to be at least fun. You can't if they can't get worse. They can't get worse as a coach. Like, they cannot get worse. But at the end of the day, they'll get better, like, if they get rid of Caitlin Clark for a player that fits better. They're not better without Caitlin Clark, but if they swap.
When a fourth-string point guard from a struggling team commands more offensive participation than Clark, the approach's priorities become questionable. This situation requires serious thought, even if no trade happens. The current path suggests continued average performance for the Fever, with declining viewership except for major matchups against players like Reese or Bueckers. Previous season's record-breaking television ratings contrast with this year's likely drop in audience figures. This downward direction threatens the league's momentum and growth potential.